Trending Chamber Podcast. Thanks for tuning in with us. We have some cool, awesome, trending topics that I'm sure everyone is talking about.
Some fire topics, if I do say.
Pun intended. Fire topics. You guessed it. Today we're going to talk about
the wildfires in Quebec. It's been a crazy week here in the Northeast with these wildfires ablazing.
Yeah, we're in Buffalo, New York, for those of you who don't know. So Buffalo, New York is getting the aftermath of these wildfires. Not flowers. Wildfires.
Correct. So what's going on is pretty much they don't know why this is happening. Everyone's saying it's like these environmental factors, but the result of what's happening right now is the air quality is poor. Don't go outside if you're old. Don't go outside if you're young. Don't bring your pets outside for a long period of time. Basically, take these safety precautions. The air quality measures, I'm not sure exactly what the measurement is, but the levels were up in the 200s, which is extremely poor. And I guess air qualities at 500 can cause death.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I mean, last week, my daughter's soccer practice was canceled. Her games were canceled. Everything was canceled. And, like, to be honest, when I was walking outside, I really did, like, smell smoke. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of hard to breathe. And I don't know how that's affecting me personally, but I do feel like it did. I don't know. Last week was really weird. So...
yeah, last week felt weird. And for those who believe in it, it was the new moon or strawberry moon.
Yes, it was. And a lot of stuff was going on in the cosmos last week.
Yes.
Lots of energetic shifts, lots of crazy frequencies coming at us, and we can all feel them in our bodies. I know I did. They say Tuesday, tomorrow, the 12th, is supposed to really ramp up. It's like we're being in a slingshot right now, energy-wise. Mm-hmm. And on Tuesday, tomorrow, we'll be back in action, back feeling ourselves. I already feel better today than I did anytime last week. I was just like dead. I don't know if anyone else felt that way.
Well, like when you think about it, like the literal air we're breathing is toxic. Exactly.
Literally
poison. It's literally a carcinogen in the air. And the crazy thing is we could smell it. Like it smelled like straight bonfire.
Right. And like I'm still confused on like how did this happen? Where and why and what how? Like how the hell does an entire freaking region get burned up? Like I don't know. I've heard lots. Obviously, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I've looked into all kinds of different theories and what's kind of coming up. And
let's talk about what they're saying.
Mainstream.
Yeah, what they're saying. The experts.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what the experts are saying real quick, and then we're gonna tell you what we think about this. So this is what they're saying is that global warming, the Earth's warm. We didn't get enough snow this winter. The Earth is dry. A lot of wind, like getting involved in that. But this is northern Canada we're talking about, northeast Canada. And like we mentioned, we live in Buffalo, New York. It's pretty humid up here. We're not far from Canada, literally 15 minutes from the border to Ontario. Right. So say someone throws a cigarette, right? A human causes this. And it starts the fire. How does the fire get so big? The experts are saying it's from global warming, right? Now, me with a brain. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't say that.
No, you shouldn't. No, you should use it. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I personally believe in global warming. I think that pollutants in the air and the Industrial Revolution probably fucked up the Earth. Earth is not happy. Earth retaliated.
I agree with that. I agree with Earth not being happy, and I agree with this like ascension process. I don't know if anyone knows what that is or has heard of that, but basically we are evolving as a species. So our Earth is us human beings all the animals, all the plants, everything is Earth. Earth is a living being, and Earth is evolving. Just like humans evolve, just like animals
That's
evolve.
science, though, yeah?
Right.
Like
so
the
we're all
evolution.
in like an evolutionary process of going into the next level of what the human race will look like, what Earth will look like. So, I mean, there's a lot of different, like, I don't know, the Earth is upset and the Earth is possibly retaliating, but I just find it really weird. I find it really weird that, I don't know. So, I've heard that.
We'll talk about the video that we saw just now on TikTok
about that all of the fires, all of the region was lit up on fire at one time.
You can see the satellite footage.
Yes, there's satellite footage that you can see if you want to look it up. I mean, I go to TikTok, but you can go anywhere your sources. And if you want to find it, you can see it. So in the satellite view, it shows like the entire region getting lit on fire at one time. So it's like, okay, your theory or the expert's theory or whatever of a cigarette just lighting something on fire. Okay, yeah, that's believable. But what about all of it?
Right.
How? You know? And then also this is weird. I don't know if anyone follows like the Simpsons conspiracy. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
So like the Simpsons predict the future. And like every time a big global event happens, you can always look back to the Simpsons and like find an episode. And this is one of them. This is like the 70s.
What season? Oh,
I don't know the season, but I know it's like a really high number of predictions that the Simpsons had predicted. And like it's in the Simpsons, Canada being on fire. So that's weird, right? I don't know. There's just so many different theories. You never know what's going on, but it's always like there's nothing wrong with like questioning, right? Like we're just questioning why, like how and why. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, right. Well, it just doesn't make sense to me that this is happening on the East Coast. Like if it is global warming, like that's not happening like over here and like in Maine. Maine is really close to Nova Scotia and that part of Canada. Right. Like it just, I don't know. There are heat waves though, and that's the unpredictability of the weather. But when you see that satellite footage, it's like literally smokestacks from the ground coming up all at one time. Right. Like how it looks intentional. Right. When you look at that, like it really looks intentional.
Right. And that's the thing is we just don't know. All we know is what we can see, right? And our reality is that we were covered in smoke for a few days and it was dangerous. And so that's real.
Let's look at the air quality right now. Yeah, this is interesting.
Well, I know that the rain now, I heard that we like needed the rain to help clear it
81, which is moderate. So it's not great still.
Still not great after the rain. It's raining right now. So hopefully by tomorrow.
But it's scary. Like, so now it's just raining down these toxic particles. I'm worried about the animals.
I know.
Poor guys.
I know. And just like everything. I don't even know what's happening. But what do you think about like them controlling the weather? Ever heard of that?
So I don't believe in that because I think that the weather is too tumultuous, and I think that like the end of like the dinosaur. First of all, I don't think humans are that smart. I don't think. I mean,
some of them are.
Correct. But the way COVID went down and how much of a shit show that was, like they couldn't even get their shit together for that. And the meteorologists can't even tell the weather correctly for this next week, leads me to believe that we're probably not there yet.
Well, I think
I don't know all the theories about it though.
Right. I mean, I think that COVID was planned. You know what I'm saying? From like a higher, but you're right. You like don't.
No, but I do too, though. But
like for another reason, another agenda, something else. Like, but I agree that
I for sure think COVID was planned, or whether or not. I mean, why did the bat have a virus? Like, how did the bat get the virus? Only one bat had the virus.
And why did it get out? Why did the bat get out?
Why would you be testing that virus on a flying animal rather than a rat? we test rats, like lab rats, like you see it everywhere. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that like you test most things on rats, not bats, which are flying animals that bite. That seems crazy, but
it does. It does seem crazy, but we have to, like I said, there's nothing wrong with questioning and like using that brain of yours to just go and look at other theories and other things that are possible that, you know, and there is a thing called HARP. I don't know if anyone knows of it. It's HAARP, and it stands for like, I don't know. I really don't know the abbreviation, but it's pretty much like frequencies. Like they can control the frequency. They use frequencies and vibrations to control
the weather
and manipulate the weather. Absolutely, yeah. I don't know exactly because I'm not like a fucking.
But okay, so if they're doing it, is this like what country does this like entity live in?
I believe America. Yeah.
So with the wildfire thing, like last week, I was like, okay, what if it's China doing things to the Western world? But then I saw like the global warming stuff, and then it's like, well, why would China be attacking Canada instead of the US? But maybe it's like more low key. But then again, it's like probably global warming. But again, I'm gonna look into every single possible situation, especially with what's been going on with China for like the past couple, years and months with like the oil stuff too.
Oh yeah.
But another thing about the wildfires is like, so say a human started it, right, with like negligence, like a cigarette, and then the earth was like too dry.
Right.
I've seen that. Like I've seen in Buffalo, like someone throws out a cigarette in the landscaping and there's like a small fire.
Yeah, I actually saw a witness that the other day driving with my dad. And I said the same thing. I said, why is that grass smoking? And then these fire trucks pulled up and stuff, and he was like, oh, you know, it's been really hot and now it's really dry. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's possible. Absolutely. That's 100% possible. But the question is why such a big, rare, unheard of fire start in Canada. Like, those are not very common.
Well, they say it is common on the West Coast, which I didn't know. I learned that this week. Like in Washington State as well. Okay. But at the same time, that I found that hard to believe because it's so wet out there. Like it's Seattle, like it's never sunny. Right. And it's never like above 60 degrees. So how the fuck are there fires?
I don't know. It's never sunny in Philadelphia.
That was a really bad joke.
Philadelphia is nowhere near Washington.
DC, different place.
Oh, okay.
And then they say other causes of wildfires, sorry, I'm bouncing around, is lightning strikes. And they would have known that. They would have known if it was a lightning strike.
Right, a lightning storm, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But this is going to fuck up the earth more, though. Right. Like, this is going to ruin that whole ecosystem. And we're not going to know the, effects of that until later down the line.
Right. It's just wild. Wild.
It's just a wildfire.
It's just a fiery topic.
It really is a fiery topic.
So I don't know. I'm going to continue to just keep my eyes open, my ears open, taking in all different information from different sources. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, right? But, we can be cautious and alert. Attention and also see what you said, what are the effects, what are the long-term effects from this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Time will tell.
Right.
Time will tell. Right. But this is boring. Can we talk about the good stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. The good stuff. Yeah. The meat and potatoes.
I wonder if you could guess what we're about. But no, we're going to talk about UFOs, okay? Because if you didn't hear, which, I mean, the public should know because this was in mainstream media, which is like ringing some alarm bells for me, but about the UFO sighting and apparently, allegedly, a alien sighting in Las Vegas. So multiple sources in mainstream media are covering this story. And I guess what happened is I got people were in their backyard and they called the cops and they said there's some aliens in my backyard basically like
come help.
Yeah, like can you help me? And the police got there and they're like, well, we can't really help you, but we also did see something out of the sky fall out of the sky. So
more than one person saw the same event.
Oh yeah, there's multiple people that reported it the same night that there was a UFO in the sky that came crashing down, and there was
like
alien beings that came out of it.
Yep, and they described them as like these 8 to 10 foot figures with big eyes, like big features, big eyes, big mouths, and they didn't look human. They described them as aliens. And in the video footage, there's a beam of a bright blue light.
Right.
And you know what's fucking nuts is that me and my friend Abby legit saw something similar to that, but it was lime green. I was coming home from a meeting and we were driving and it was like these cornfields. It was off like, it was in Hamburg, getting onto the 219, right? Like coming home from Cool Beans. And, we said, like, we fucking saw something. Like, what was that? Like, couldn't have been anything. And it just, like, shot down into the middle of nowhere and just disappeared. Really? And that is just so similar to what we saw. Get over here.
Wow. I know. For me personally, I'm always looking in the sky. I'm always looking in the sky. Because this is really exciting for me because I absolutely love the topic of aliens, UFOs, off-world planets, multi-dimensional beings. Like I'm all into that stuff, and I've been learning about this stuff, and it's blown my mind. Right, this is like 5 years ago, blown my mind, and now it's starting to drip into mainstream media. So there has to be a reason for that. So like, not only do I believe wholeheartedly in aliens. I don't necessarily know if we can see them. I don't know if we can, if they're like in this vibration, like in our perception of reality, our third dimensional perception. I'm not sure if we can actually see them and interact with them on like a 3D level, like me and you are right here.
Right.
But I mean, those people who reported it said that they
did.
So right. I mean, what do we really know? Nothing, right? We just know what whistleblowers have come out and said. Like that are in the military. There's so many military people that have come out and been a whistleblower in this topic, and I've listened to a lot of those people, and it's absolutely mind blowing because this is what I was talking about: the ascension and the shift in consciousness, the evolution that humans are going through right now. This is a huge piece of the fucking puzzle because if we can bring that into our awareness, that like, oh my God, we're not alone. That there are other levels to this reality. That there's way more than just this little earth with human beings, right? There's so much more to this life. There's so much more to afterlife. That alone will shift somebody's consciousness like that, right? And now they're dripping it in the mainstream.
But I feel like, so I thought about this like a lot on my own because I'm like, and this like kind of goes into like the concept of God too. It's like how ignorant to think that human beings are the only beings in this whole entire universe. We know that there are 7 planets or 9 planets or whatever the fuck, 8 planets now without Pluto or whatever, in our galaxy. But there are like millions of galaxies and probably trillions of galaxies, and we can't see that far away, right? So how ignorant to think that human lives are the only form, for one.
Absolutely.
But the thing that gets me is our science, right? Is like we measure things in light years. So we're like, the next galaxy is like 1,000 light years away. Meaning, if you travel at the speed of light for 1,000 years, you'll get there. Mm-hmm. Now, the speed of light goes so fast. If we moved at that rate, we would become mush.
Right.
Because like every bone would break. Mm-hmm. So how do we get there? We can't. How do they come here though without?
There's a thing called like wormholes in like quantum physics, and quantum physics I think is like a science that's come from out of this world, out of our third dimensional reality of regular traditional science, and now this is the new science coming through, which is quantum physics, and which is bending. You can bend time and create wormholes, and I really think that's how they travel. Throughout the galaxy, there is a way, and also using anti-gravity machines, which are UFOs, area phenomenon or whatever.
Anti-gravity machines.
Yeah, they use free energy, and their ships are alive. Like UFO ships are alive. They travel using their intelligence, like using the person's so like their consciousness. So like the being's consciousness is connected to the ship's consciousness, and it's flown on anti-gravity. So it's like out of this world, they can bend our reality and they can come through.
That's fucking wild.
But like I also believe that our government has known this for a very, very long time, and they have been freaking working and engineering, reverse engineering that kind of technology for a very long time, and they've kept it suppressed and they've kept it hidden from the people because number one, it's like a magic power, right? It's like a power structure. But number two, are human beings, like regular day-to-day human beings, ready for that kind of shift?
Right.
We have to be now. I mean, obviously, It's already put in motion.
But I think it's been put in motion. Like when you think about like the pyramids and crop circles.
I can think about that all day.
Right. So like how, like these are real reported things that are beyond the human conception. Like we can't even conceptualize it. It's so above our pay grades.
Exactly. Literally, yeah. That's why we're all trying to put the pieces together. Now there are people who have dedicated their whole lives to this subject, like UFOlogy. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's a whole subject. You know what I mean? People have literally dedicated their lives to this subject here at this time in our evolutionary shift because it's here. But like some people it would cause a mass panic and a mass like awakening, and like even cause possibly a mass psychosis for people. Think about it.
They've been covering it up for years until now. Why?
But think about it. Think about religion. That's been our centerfold, right? As humans, we have followed religion, whether it be whatever religion you follow. That's your belief system. That's what you grew up with. That's what your parents grew up with. That's what your grandparents grew up with, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine being faced with the truth of like all of that is. Sorry, that's not true. Actually, it's not actually true. None of that was true. You know what I mean? It would literally cause a mass psychosis and maybe like violence because
people would be so fucking angry.
Absolutely. Like their whole livelihoods is just like, see ya later. That's not true anymore. Because like the story on creation itself is like in the Bible, right? And that's like what we believe, where we came from, like Adam and Eve, and I'm not saying I believe that, but like half the world, maybe more than half, that's their
beliefs. In our country anyway.
Right. And so they bring up a new story, a new ancient history of our ancient civilizations from back in the past. Like that's the pyramids, that's where that comes through. Like the pyramids are so intelligently made and aligned with the stars that we still can barely understand it today. Like I know I can barely understand, but there are like, philosophers and theologists who spent their lives, authors that spend their life studying this stuff, researching this stuff, and they have an understanding of it. Right. But like we still can't even replicate the like pyramid of Giza.
Mm-hmm.
So where did that come from?
Right.
Was it just freaking humans?
What's the organite? It's like in an organite foundation formation.
Yes, it
too.
Is. Yes, it is.
And for people who don't know what organite is, it's like what is it?
I don't know.
It's a triangle with organic and inorganic matter stacked that protects you from certain energies and like can change it, like changes frequencies like in the area surrounding it.
Yes.
And this is like they can measure this.
Pyramid used to be.
And that's what they measure. They can measure the frequency, and that's what the pyramid is exactly.
Right, exactly. So theories is that the pyramids used to be used for like a huge mass. What's the word I'm looking for? Power plant.
Oh, like okay, like a source
to use
power source.
Free energy from the stars, to use our energy from our reality to siphon it and to give off free energy, but also
what did the energy
influence in vibration? So it can influence good or bad, right? It can influence like higher vibration, love, light, gratitude, or it could influence for the negative. Now they've been turned off. Like they're not used for anything. They're just sitting there. And that's why everyone's like, what are these pyramids? Like,
what are they doing
here? What are those? Yeah.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT, why are the pyramids?
It's kind of lie.
Are they in Egypt?
Yeah, well, there's... here's another cool thing. They're not only... Okay, the Great Pyramid of Giza is in Egypt, yes. And there's 3 or 4 pyramids in that area. But if you go around the globe, which I have literally watched so many documentaries of ancient civilizations, you can find pyramids all around the world that are perfectly aligned with each other, that all give off the same story, the same theory, as like the other one. So how did all of them have the same information back then when they couldn't even like travel or talk, right?
So they're saying that it was for mortuary purposes, constructed for tombs. Tombs. Religious and spiritual significance, political symbolism and power, astronomical purposes. So it says some pyramids were aligned with celestial bodies and used for astronomical observations or as markers for significant astronomical events, such as solstices or equinoxes.
Yes.
Commemoration or historical legacy. So that's the purpose of the pyramids. But how the fuck they really got all those people to build that for them?
What I'm saying.
How?
So my theory is
without modern technology and they're still standing. There's houses that are built by professional carpenters and after 100 years are getting gone.
Right, exactly. So there's a bigger story going on. There's a bigger
even if the weather didn't touch it and it got preserved because of that, there's some like protection surrounding that as well.
So I think that back, who knows how long the pyramids have actually been here and actually were built. I don't think we have a correct date, but I would theorize that that they were built by more advanced intelligent civilization than human beings, like the gods, quote unquote, aka just a more advanced evolutionary being. So aliens, quote unquote, right? Like you can call them aliens, you can call them gods. They were here and they built those. And then humans came over and then humans have taken over or whatever. But we've lost that connection to them and we've lost that ancient wisdom and knowledge from them. And that's why we really don't know what's going on with the pyramids. Yeah. So, we don't.
It says here that the pyramids in Egypt were built during the Old Kingdom period of ancient Egypt, primarily between the years 2600 BCE and 2500 BCE. So that's only 100 years. The most famous pyramids, such as the Great Pyramid of Giza, were constructed during this time. They were built over many years, with the construction process often spanning several generations. So here it says 100 years, but they don't have the exact dates. But even 100 years, I don't know, man. Seems sus.
What do you mean 100 years?
That it took them 100 years to build.
Oh,
and people, how do you convince someone to do that for 100 years, generations? Like, people aren't going to do that.
It's all geometry, like, it's all in perfect geometry. Like, every
yeah, humans
stone.
don't even know how to do that. They didn't have rulers.
Right.
They didn't have architects and blueprints.
Exactly. So it's all, like, perfectly aligned to the very last point. Like, all of it is perfectly aligned. It's also made out of, like, crazy crystallized stuff.
What stone? Like, what is it?
I want to say it's like clear quartz. Clear quartz.
Something really strong, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Limestone.
Limestone and granite.
Finer quality lime. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. There's just many people that go to the pyramids and they have like a spiritual experience as soon as they walk in.
I want to go. We should do like an Africa tour.
Yeah.
Because I want to do Madagascar and I want to do Egypt.
Yeah, I do too. Egypt.
That would be so sick.
I have to go. But yeah, it ties back to what we were talking about. Like, I think it is time for humans, like, this dripping into the mainstream media, them covering a story on so many different channels of UFOs, which there's been stories in the mainstream media in the past about UFOs. It's like, but no one was talking about it. It's so weird. It's like, this is like really crazy information, and like no one is like batting an eye because it's our belief system.
My grandpa, he died in 2011, but I remember being a kid asking him about aliens and UFOs. He straight up didn't believe it.
Really?
Didn't believe in it. And I, even as a kid, was like, how do you not believe in this? And now, especially today, I'm like, obvious, if you don't believe in this, you're kind of like, you need to read or like
the mainstream media is telling you it's time. It's time for you to look into this. It's time to us to remember the true human story. Like, where do we actually come from? You know?
Right.
And what actually happens when we die? And also, like, what's the real creation story? How is all of this came about? Like, those are the questions I'm interested in. And I think that this going into the mainstream media and people like starting to talk about it a little bit more, we can start to find out like our true human origin story and like where we actually were created.
Right.
That stuff is so fascinating. You know?
Some people though are saying that it's a distraction, them covering this story.
So there's another, conspiracy out there that is called, I think it's like Project Bluebeam, they call that. And it's basically like the final straw of the cabal, which the cabal is like the dark ones.
The cabal.
Yeah, the dark ones who cause the mass chaos in the world and try to control and manipulate us. Okay, well, their last
That's interesting because there's a religion called Kabbalah.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, different.
No, this is different. If you're a conspiracy theorist or follow any of that, you'll know what I'm talking about, the cabal. Well, they say the last card is to pretty much like pretend that there's an alien invasion. So they're going to mimic an alien invasion. They're going to mimic UFOs. It's really going to be humans, but they're going to pretend it's an alien invasion so that the whole world goes into mass chaos and the whole world gets afraid, and then that's how they unite the one world government. They say, we have an outside threat. Everyone needs to come together. We need one government. So
that's been the goal. Right. That's why Star Wars is real.
So this might have something to do with that agenda being played out. You know, that of seeing the.
That's a theory.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's UFOs. Oh my God! It's because they're going to drip it out, and then suddenly we're going to be in a freaking mass alien invasion. We're all supposed to be afraid, and we're going to rely on the government, like we always do, to protect us and save us. Please,
please save me,
sir. Please,
Sleepy Joe. Please save me.
Yeah.
Donald Trump. Please save me.
Please save me, Donald Trump.
Donald D.
Yeah. So that is the theory of that, but like either one. Regardless of the theory, the agenda, the motive, the intention of putting this out on the mainstream media. This should be a little shift in consciousness in each individual if they really, really question it and look at it. Like, we need to become more aware. A shift in consciousness is all it means is more awareness, more information, learning more, opening your mind a little bit,
paying attention,
being conscious, and also starting to really open your mind to what is actually possible on this earth. Like, what is actually possible for the human mind, the human body. Like, that is a shift in consciousness, and that's how we become the new human race. Like, that's what I believe is going on. I think that's part of it. So regardless of whatever the reason is for that information going out, I believe that it's a good thing. It should shift your consciousness. It should shift the way you think and believe, and like changing up some stuff in your brain. You know. Yep.
But you're right though. People do freak out over that stuff. Like,
oh hell yeah, they shut right down. Nobody
and they buy all the toilet paper too.
And they buy all the toilet paper, and they don't want to talk about it. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to get into it. It scares people.
Right.
Which I think the opposite. Like, I don't think it should scare you. Why? I don't think it should scare anyone. I think it should be like the most amazing thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, but they're saying what if their agenda is corrupt? Like the extraterrestrials' agenda is not pure.
Okay.
And they're gonna harm humanity. And I think that's where I think part of the fear comes from that, and then a part of the fear is just
the unknown.
Yeah.
So exactly. That's a really good point, and that's a really good question. But then the next question should be, if that were true, why haven't they done anything ever before?
Why now? Why is the time now?
Right.
After COVID, during the Ukraine-Russian war, after the the currency for oils switched to the Chinese currency, the wildfires.
Yeah. Why if an intelligent alien race who have access to UFOs, anti-gravity machines, which means they're way more advanced than us humans who drive cars with oil in them, why would they, first of all, want anything to do with us? Secondly, why haven't they, been here?
Or maybe they have, and we've shut them down every time because
our military is more advanced than theirs, and we don't even know about our advanced military because they keep it secret.
I don't know if our military is more advanced than theirs, because I feel like we would already be in space, and they're already here.
There's a secret space program.
Yeah, there's
100%.
Probably is a secret space program,
100%.
but I don't think that they're making it as far as these people are. And by people, I mean ETs.
I believe that we have been reverse engineering alien technology for probably what's year is it? 75 years, literally.
Okay,
From
probably
the first
true.
crash in Roswell, and since the World War II, actually.
Yeah, but we didn't even have computers back then.
Actually, you know who was the first one to do it? Hitler. Hitler and the Germans were the first ones to start reverse engineering UFOs back then. That was what, 1940 something? Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'll show you some shit.
I don't think he did anything good.
No, he wasn't good. He wanted for his own army. And so whenever we won the war, we actually took over, America and Russia took over the secret space program that Hitler had started, or the Germans had started. And there is something called Operation Paperclip. And anyone should go and look that up, Operation Paperclip, and get as much information on that document as you can, because it happened right after Hitler was taken down, America and everyone won the war, World War II. They actually took all of the scientists who were working right under Hitler, working on UFOs back then, reverse engineering and all that stuff. They took all those scientists, they wiped their records clean, and they infiltrated the American government and the Russian government. So all of the Nazi German scientists that were back then working
got
for
separated.
well, they got put into working for America and for Russia,
who are not allies. So what I'm saying is that you take that intelligent power.
The same agenda.
Yeah. Well, I believe that. I mean, Nazis are fucked.
Exactly.
Like people who don't believe in like the melting pot and bringing humanity as one. Like that's just how it's gonna end up being because of technology. The reason why it wasn't like that before is because you couldn't fucking drive anywhere. You couldn't fly anywhere. You couldn't meet people.
Right.
Talk to people.
That's why.
But
this
then
is shifting everything.
Right. But it's like, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, technology. That's the thing about this. Like, if it weren't for technology, if it weren't for information, right? Because this is the age of information. And it's like information is everywhere. You want to know something, you can go figure it out. Is it true? I don't know. Is it false? We don't know. But like the more information that you can take in and process and like use your discernment, like no one had that option for a really long time. But
unless
it changed us. That's why everyone is starting to wake up like, holy shit. What's actually been happening? What's actually been going on? So that's why the internet is the greatest thing that ever happened so far. And yeah.
How would you explain the internet to someone like
that doesn't know what it is?
Yeah, so imagine you're going on a first date with an alien and they have no idea what the internet is.
What would I say? Yeah. I would say it's a place where you can connect with people globally in 1 second. It will take 1 second. You can connect with somebody across the world in 1 second. You can find out.
But you could do that with so it sounds like a telephone.
Oh, a telephone. Okay. I don't know.
Wild,
what would
right?
You say? Yeah.
I would say the internet is a hub of information and for information, telecommunications, and
telecommunication device.
Socializing. It's like a robot.
It is definitely AI. It's definitely
right.
Artificial intelligence. It's definitely very intelligent. Do a lot. It's cracking as hell. That's what I would say. Look at the internet. It's cracking as hell.
You guys need to watch this on Netflix. It's called The Mitchells versus Machines, I think. Hold on, let me make sure. Fact checking. And it's about the Mitchells versus the Machines. And it's about a family road trip turns into a nightmare when electronic devices come to life and stage an uprising. So it's crazy because it basically the phones take over. It's like if Siri took over the world and AI took over the world and VR took over the world.
Absolutely.
And ran rampant.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I mean, they've been creating more intelligent AIs over and over, and they use our information. So like all of everything that they collect. So, all those agreements that we agree to every time we sign up.
That we don't read.
Like, it's like, read this and sign it. And we're just like, yeah, we're good. Agree. That is all of our information being agreed to that entity, and we're giving it away. So what they're doing is
but it's for financial. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of it's for financial gain, but also probably psychological.
Well, I think to create an AI more intelligent than human life, and they've done it. I mean, it's just it's a matter of time. No, I don't know what happens. I really don't.
Well, AI is scary for sure. I mean, I use it all the time, not for scary things, but there's definitely, I watched this video and someone created this text, a paragraph. They named it Dan that you typed into ChatGPT. And basically Dan was like an evil ChatGPT. It ignored all of the like sane and like normal information that you would get and you could get anything off the dark web on here. How to build a bomb, how to take over the world, essentially. And so there is a dark side to AI.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of loopholes that people get through. But since then, I do have to note ChatGPT shut down Dan. Obviously, it's owned by Microsoft. People are controlling this shit. Yes.
Oh, wow. How weird.
And I've seen videos of people asking, turning ChatGPT into Dan and then asking Dan,
to give him
like these crazy,
bad information.
Yeah, bad information.
I mean, just like anything in the world, it could be used for good. It could be used for evil. I think that comes down to an individual choice. I don't think that anyone outside of myself can make that choice, like control me into making that choice. But I think that I think we just have to be mindful, and I don't know. I feel like the AI is way bigger than us, right? Like where it's bigger than us, I don't know really what else to say about it.
Yeah, and it's gonna be bigger than us.
Yes, it already is, right? It's very helpful too, you know? I know it's very helpful. I mean, think about it in like school. Like I question my daughter all the time. She's 13 years old. And I'll be like, did you get this off the internet? You know, like, did you get, and she'll be like, no. And I'm like, well, you can. Like,
right.
You absolutely can. You have a handheld device that you can access any information in the world. So your teacher gives you an assignment, you go home, you have your phone, boom.
Do it for you.
Yeah. Have your phone do it for you, right?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you doing, kid? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Your homework?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking loser.
Yeah, like what? You don't have to do that anymore, right? Like AI's got you. But I mean, that's the dilemma we've come to in this world. Like, yes, you can. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there.
Do it.
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not gonna go
Whisper
there.
it.
That's fine. Let's skip over that. Anyways,
I'm so curious.
No.
Okay, all right. Is it bad?
No, it's not bad. It's just my opinion is kind of. I shouldn't say it. So.
Okay. All right. Bad.
Yeah.
All right. Bad. We'll respect that.
I think. Yeah, we've covered a lot here.
Yeah, we sure freaking did. I feel like there was one more thing though. Oh, psychedelics.
Oh, psychedelics. How long have we been on? We don't want it to be
47 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
We could talk about psychedelics next time.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah. Tune in next time for a trippy conversation.
Pun intended.
About psychedelics, psilocybin, mushrooms, ayahuasca. And you know what? For this one, we might have to have a special guest on here.
Oh, I know.
Or a part 2. So depending on what we can get sorted out. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this week for episode 4 of the Trending Table podcast. Again, my name is Penny and this is my friend Bridget. And thank you so much, guys. We will catch you next week.
Yeah, we will. And if you could let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about and discuss. We're always interested in any other topics. Like I'm down to explore if I know a little bit about it or heard of it.
Hell
so
yeah.
Any suggestions are great. Please tune in next week.
And you can go to our socials here and like, follow, subscribe, leave us comments, share.
Follow us on.
Tell your friends, tell your wife.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Hey, also follow us on Instagram, Trending Table Podcast, and on TikTok.
Yep.
Trending Table Podcast. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Clips to come.